Video games are amazing. They let you experience all sorts of things, from sprawling, lush, and breathtaking environments to deep and relatable characters, plots that invoke existential dread, and actions that keep you on the edge of your seat. There's something in there for everyone. But if there's one type of video game that makes you feel a flurry of all these emotions with a side of salt, it would be fighting games. Fighting games are pretty straightforward to explain. It's a type of game that pits two players against each other to duke it out until one side goes down. It's usually a one-on-one fight, though sometimes it may be a team battle consisting of up to 3 characters per team. Easy enough for a baby to understand? No? Well, not quite. They may be easy to understand, but mastering them is where the real challenge lies. They're like ogres. Yes, ogres. They've got many layers, some of which you could play the whole game through and not even know what they are. But that doesn't stop the casual player from enjoying them though, and that's kind of like the best part about them. I only recently got into fighting games myself, specifically Skullgirls, and I gotta say, as a total beginner, I've been having a ton of fun. Lots of people come to fighting games for tons of different reasons, but I think the main reason is probably because of the challenge. The thrill of facing tough opponents, mastering complex combos, building up your reaction speed, and dominating your friends and strangers online. I think that's a feeling unique to fighting games. Like, if you watch some high-level plays online, or fighting game tournaments, you really see some crazy moves and you wonder, how are they able to even do that? And are they even human? But yet, it inspires you to want to try harder to reach that level one day. They kind of make you feel like a protagonist. You know, starting out weak, learning the controls, everything feels kind of foreign to you and your first instinct is to mash buttons like crazy, with some kind of hope of pulling some stylish combo. But then you realize, mashing buttons leaves you open to serious counterattacks, which could ultimately lead to your defeat. And as a beginner, you probably don't know how to block, or if you do, you just don't like doing it because it's not fun. But eventually you start to understand how the system works, how every character plays differently, and how to pull off supers. Eventually you become a pretty decent player. I think Skullgirls does a great job easing beginners into fighting games. Whatever game mode you choose to try out first helps you understand the main mechanics of fighting games in general, like frame data and hitboxes, as well as the mechanics unique to Skullgirls. Character design is also one of Skullgirls' strong points. You can tell each character was carefully designed to portray their playstyle and personality at first glance. Like, take a look at Eliza for example. Her design alone, you can tell she's a ruthless individual, someone who'll do whatever she needs to get what she wants, with a playstyle that aims at putting pressure on your opponents and giving them little time to breathe or get away. Or Valentine, sneaky ninja nurse who's got a lot of utility to cover all sorts of situations. They say the eyes are the first form of judgment, and the way these characters are designed, you'll be able to tell who works well for you almost at first glance. And the same can be said about other fighting games too though. Now let's say you've gotten used to the controls, you've picked out your main, you've spent hours and hours playing through the story and training mode, the combos are burned into your reflexes, so you think you're finally ready to test your skills online, against actual people, and then you get completely destroyed, over and over again. This is where the real fun begins. You slowly realize that all you've done prior to this was just the tutorial. You see, the thing about playing against other humans is, well, they're humans. They're unpredictable and able to pull off moves AI opponents wouldn't even dream of. It's kind of like chess, but if chess included rapid button commands and stylish visuals. If you've watched a match between two veterans, you clearly see there's a lot of thinking going on. They're both trying to predict and anticipate each other while also coming up with counterattacks on the fly. Though to the untrained eye, you'd probably think they're hopping around, too afraid to attack. I know I did, and as a total beginner, I will admit, I got the floor handed to me more times than I'd like, and honestly, it made me put down the game for a couple of days. Yeah, defeat does that to you. But then during that period, I couldn't stop thinking about the game. Yeah, losing isn't fun, nobody likes to lose. and I think it's all that losing that scares people away from fighting games. Not a lot of people want to sink in hours for a chance to be exceptionally good at a game, especially if you're a busy adult. Nobody wants to hop into a match only to get pressured into the wall without getting a chance to even land a single hit. But if you're one of those people who decide a couple of losses aren't going to bog you down, and return to training mode to further master your skills, you will eventually begin to appreciate fighting games, and when you finally land your first victory online, you'll be ecstatic, and it'll make you fall in love with fighting games all over again. If you're a fan of fighting games, leave a comment below as to what your favorite part about them is, as well as what your favorite game is. I'd love to know what you guys think, and what you enjoy about them. And while you're there, why not leave a like? And if you aren't already, consider subscribing, so you won't miss out on future content. BreadHead